Many of us have a dream car. Could be big, small, red, white, electric. Whatever specs you want, there are two basic options. Should you buy or lease a car? Both have their advantages and disadvantages. So, let's roll. Leasing a car means making monthly payments to use a car for a certain period of time. Your lease agreement will include details like the down payment. This is the amount you pay when you sign the lease. The length of the lease, which is usually 3 or 4 years. Your total monthly cost and your total lease cost. This includes your interest or financing amount. Your contract also states the number of kilometers you can drive without extra charges, and the warranty on the car. These details are all very important. Take care when reviewing your lease agreement. You don't want any surprises. So what are the advantages of leasing? First, you'll get lower monthly payments than when you buy a car. That's because you're only paying for the part of the car that you used during the lease period. Usually you can also make a lower down payment when you lease versus when you buy. And you may have lower repair costs. That's because you're leasing a new car that's probably under warranty. It's the same for buying a new car, but if you own it for years after the warranty expires, repair costs can add up. That said, if you like newer cars, you'll like leasing because you'll end up with a new car every few years. Leasing a car also has tax advantages for people who use a car for business. You can get a tax deduction based on how much the car is used for work. Wait a minute, can I do that? We'll talk later. Well, that all sounds great, but there are some disadvantages to leasing. You have to give your car back at the end of the lease. You don't own it, and you can't sell it. You also have to return your car in good condition. Any extra damage beyond normal wear and tear could be costly, because you have to pay for that. Oh, and here's another important point. When you lease, you're locked in. It's very difficult and costly to get out of the lease. You could try to find someone to take over your lease if you really need to, but it's trickier than selling a car you own. Finally, keep an eye on your kilometers. You have to pay extra if you go over your allowance in the contract. So have a good idea of how much you drive each year when you negotiate your lease, because those kilometers and dollars add up. So I think we've got a good handle on leasing, but what about buying? First, you should consider the difference between new and used cars. Dealers stand by their new cars if and when you have a problem. A new car will cost more, but it also hasn't been handled or driven by previous owners. So if you're buying used, you need to understand a car's past relationships, if you will. So, tell me about yourself. Check into the history of a used car if you can. Talk to past owners by tracing the history through provincial records. Wow, you really seem to have a lot of baggage. Yeah. Get to know the car. Find a good mechanic to inspect it first. You can also check for worn tires, rust on the surface and under the car, and damage from any accidents. Next, make sure you see proof of vehicle ownership before you buy. Also, get a receipt of sale. Another note on used cars, you'll likely save money up front because it'll depreciate less than a new car and is cheaper to insure. But now, let's cover some general car buying tips. First, explore all possible sources for a car, like dealers, private sales, or cars that were repossessed and are now being sold. Always negotiate the price. Car dealers expect you to bargain. You can also bargain if you have a car to trade in as part of the deal. Also, don't get pressured into a sale. Salespeople can be very persuasive and pushy. You can always step away and think about it. And our last tip when buying a car, check consumer reports. Research the record and reputation of the car you're considering. Once you know the car well, you'll feel confident in your choice. Yeah, I think this could work. Here's a final note. Make sure you need a car. There are other transportation options that might make more financial sense. Maybe a bike, public transport, or even borrowing a car could work better for you. Now that you're an expert on buying or leasing, go get that dream car.